What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit more about this Death Stranding movie. Now, look, it's not actually news that this thing has been confirmed, that there is a Death Stranding movie. We knew that, and I think I even maybe made a video on this channel talking about it when it was first announced. We don't know necessarily more about it, but we had like a little, blog thing that Hideo said, and mainly a connection to like what studio is going to be helping out with this thing, right? So you got Hideo Kojima, and you got A24 kind of being the major backers of this thing. Now, I can't sit here and pretend to tell you everything you need to know about A24 because I don't watch that many movies. I watch even less of these kind of movies, but from my basic understanding, smaller, kind of started out definitely more as like an indie thing. Maybe you'd even consider it with the bigger, Hollywood studios. It would still be considered an indie. I think it's only like 10 years old or something, right? Hideo said. And more of like an art house style kind of thing. Now, look, I actually think, and I want to say, I didn't double check myself on this, but I believe I said before, and I'm going to say it again, I think of all of these projects that are doing these adaptations, this one stands a pretty solid chance of being, really good. Now, it's not the only one that would be good, right? I actually really like Twisted Metal. Obviously, The Last of Us, I think, is a pretty okay show. It's diminished with time in my head. I know a lot of people loved it, though, and that's totally fine. Twisted Metal was weirdly, ironically, the best one that I can say as of right now. Uncharted, Halo, god-awful. You got BioShock coming and many, many, many more. I think too many. But, you got like a 50-50 shot that it's either going to be, good or bad. I guess that's how it works. But honestly, no, Death Stranding, I think, could work. I really do. Hideo does some weird stuff, and Death Stranding is a weird game. And for it to go to a production company that I think by many would be considered weird, I think, and that's not an insult. It's not an insult because I do think when you have something like this, look, like why do these things I think fall apart, right? There has to be a disconnect between whoever's making it and like the IP itself, I guess, right? So like I guess any of the examples I said, even the ones that are good, there's just that understanding of it. I think Twisted Metal, the people behind Twisted Metal, kind of understood it, and Twisted Metal also gave them a little bit more like leniency. There's a lot you can do with it. With Death Stranding, obviously, think you should follow what Hideo says very, very closely. He already makes like hybrid movies anyway. That's basically what they're not literally movies, but they're bridging the gap between movies, entertainment, gaming. Hideo kind of does it all. So I think his voice should be very, very powerful. And if it's not, you have a problem. But then also, considering what this game is, and then the production company, and I think their values kind of align, and again, they're both kind of weird, they're both out there, they're both not necessarily like they're rejects, but they kind of like do their own thing, they experiment, they sometimes make mistakes, but they sometimes like knock it out of the park. I think that's what you need, right? You kind of need both of them to do it. Oftentimes, again, like I said, like Halo, I think the showrunners and anybody that's responsible for that show probably hates, actually I believe they do, hate Halo. Witcher, we actually know, the Witcher show hates, literally despises what The Witcher actually is, and we, knew that by leaks or whatever. So, the point being, I think there needs to be that connection between those two, and I think you have it here. So, in terms of, like, upcoming ones, is this, like, my most anticipated? No, I actually would say BioShock for the simple fact that I just kind of want to see what in God's name, because that's either, like, the biggest hit you can have, or like the biggest miss, and you're going to make so many people very, very, including myself, very, very upset at you. Death Stranding is probably my top 5. I mean, if I were to like rank them all. So hopefully they nail it. I think, if you just let Hideo kind of do what he needs to do, and as long as he's got a really big say in these things, I think it should be fine. And again, like, I could see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to actually say out loud. It's why I haven't spent too much time talking about that. I could literally see going to the theaters, seeing the logo, like the dripping black, and seeing Death Stranding. It's Norman or whatever. It doesn't necessarily even have to be, Norman Reedus, but I can see the logo. I can see like sitting in a theater and watching a freaking Death Stranding movie. Does that make sense? And I don't know if I can say that with other, at least some other franchises. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to watch a Life is Strange show. I think they would do terrible. Honestly, I really don't have a lot of faith in that. But Death Stranding, I feel like that could work. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.